Hello students, myself Dr. Pooja Bhardwaj. Here today I am come with my topic WTO, which is World Trade Organization. We all aware about this. In recent year, it works very hugely for the organizations globally in the world. So the setting up of World Trade Organization was agreed by 125 countries on April 15, 1994 at a conference in Marrakech, which concluded the centurious Uruguay around a GATT negotiation after more than 7 years of hard bargaining. Have you heard about the GATT? GATT means General Agreement of Trade and Tariff. GATT established in 1939 and gradually it's grow. It's a type of agreement of trading between two countries. But after increasing the demand, the countries decided to create an organization like who work for the for all the world's trade, that is called as a World Trade Organizations, which make the rules, regulations, and under the one roof of WTO, all the world organizations and industries will do their businesses and interactions. Initially, to make the WTO, the initiation of this organization is taken by the India only. India is the one of the most introductory company to introduce such type of ideas to make a WTO in 1985. And after the long negotiations or the roundtable conference in the Uruguay around, it is 15 April 1994, it takes place. WTO, so it is established in 1995 as the heir organizations to GATT. GATT was founded in 1939, as we told earlier, with 23 nations. 23 nations in 1948 as the global international trade organizations to serve all multilateral trade agreements by giving fair chances to all nations in the international exchange of trading prospects. WTO is required to build a role-based training government in which countries cannot place unreasonable countries or negotiations of trade and on trade. The new World Trade Organizations, which replaced the GATT General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, had came into effect in January 1st, with January 1st, 1995. Why? Because GATT has completed their years in 98, so for Golden Jubilee, that's why he completed. And after the completion of Golden Jubilee GATT, it effectively working into the 1995. In 91, it established WTO, but in the full-fledged working is in from the 1st January 1995 with the support of at least 85 founding members, including India, who is a founder member or who is calling as a founder member of WTO. WTO has 153 members representing more than 95% of total world trade. The WTO is governed by a ministerial conference meeting every 2 years. The General Council, which implements the conference policies, decision and is reasonable for day-to-day administration, and the Director of Journal, who appointed by the Ministry of Conference, is only the authority to take the decision. And the headquarters of WTO is situated in Switzerland, Geneva. So here are the some little bit of introduction of WTO. Now come to the objectives of WTO. What are the objectives behind the establishment of WTO? The major objectives: to help developing countries benefit fully from global trading systems. To, as you know, the globalization, and you can take the help my previous video about the globalizations. I discussed it there, that after the globalization so many countries benefited, but some of the countries are in trouble to face the global trading systems problems. To set and to solve their problems, the WTO has to provide so many benefits to such type of countries. To set the enforced rules for international trades, to the WTO has to appoint or has to make some type of rules which has to follow by the all international trade companies or the world countries who are registered or the members of WTO. To increase the transparency of decision making, for each and every country, the decision will remain same. No country will be benefited or no country will get their influences benefit from the WTO or the international market. And to facilitate trade without any discriminations, to resolve trade disputes, as well as to improve the clarity of decision-making methods. By the help of this WTO, every country has to take decisions and the members' disputes can be resolved without any favoring or partiality or nepotism. Next, here I am trying to convey some figure here. This is from the Council of Foreign Relations, WTO से लिया है ये सारा graphics. Disputes failed with the WTO and members dispute with WTO. You can understand easily by this graph. And move on the next slides. That what are the features of WTO? Features of WTO means it is an international organization to promote multilateral trade. It has replaced GATT. इसने replace किया है GATT को. ये multilateral trade है और इसमें multilateral trade means जितना भी हम इसमें देखते हैं कि क्या क्या होना चाहिए, सभी trade से related ये आगे काम करता है. In this, one second. Yes, it has replaced successfully GATT agreement of the General Agreement of Trade and Tariff. It promotes free trade by removing tariff and non-tariff barriers in international trade. जितने भी tariffs है और non-tariff barriers है, उन सबको promote करता है, free trade को execute करता है, privatizations को promote करता है, liberalizations को promote करता है, and obviously it is the result of globalization. WTO has large secretariat and huge organizations set up in Geneva, Switzerland. It includes trade in goods, trade in services, protection of intellectual property rights, foreign investment, etc. Now, what are the functions of WTO? Here are some important functions of WTO, that is to facilitate international trade, formulations of rule, protecting the interest of developing countries, optimum utilizations of world resource. So after this, we can easily find out that the role and the importance and the introductory part of WTO. Next slides, we will move on the scope of WTO. The WTO shall provide the common institutional framework for the conduct of trade relation among its members. It matters related to the agreement and associated legal instrument included in the annexes. The agreement and associated legal instruments of the multilateral trade agreement are binding on all members. All the members of WTO has to follow the legal instruments, the legal regulations, rules, and all the agreements which on the basis of multilateral trades has to follow by the all members of WTO. They cannot be denied or they cannot be passed on that types of rules which is defined by the WTO. The General Agreement of Tariff and Trade 1994 is legally distinct from the General Agreement of Trade and Tariff dated 30th October 1947. Now, to conclude this topic, we can say this, that it is the place where the member countries come and talk together, meet together, share their grievances in order to resolve their problems as well as related to the international trade or any financial dispute itself. The countries make their decision through various council and committees whose membership consists of all WTO members. The system helps promote peace by handling disputes of members countries. It provides free trade which cut and the cost of living and provides more choices of products and qualities and stimulus economic growth. So we can say that after the WTO establishment, there are several types of opportunity which can any country can come forward and discuss their problem and take the decisions about their dispute and resolves their dispute with other country members and do their work smoothly and widely to growing era. Thank you all of you. This is all about the WTO. Thank you so much. Thanks for your cooperation and listening patiently.